By Zoom, but my cold is getting better.
Oh, yeah, next time let me know.
Well, hopefully there won't be a next time. Thank you. No, I appreciate that.
Crazy because we're gonna go into executive session. At the end of the meeting, we're gonna go.
Yes, yeah, I know.
Okay, thank you.
It's built up on
Yeah.
top.
Yeah. We all set?
Yep.
All right. It's after 9. All right, at 9. Call to order the Board of Directors annual meeting. You want to handle this first, or?
We'll do the CRC first because there's some housekeeping that I think we need.
Call to order the Board of Directors annual meeting for the Story County. Yes, that's right, first time. For the Schoharie County Capital Resource Corporation. Roll call.
All right. Chester Burton.
Here.
Leo McAllister. Here. Charles Finney. Here. Gail Breen.
Here,
Michael Moore.
Here.
And CEO James Hallius here.
Review and approval of the February 22nd, 2024 annual meeting minutes attached. I have a motion to approve. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Good
morning.
How are you?
Good, thank you.
I'm the controller for the campus. I was asked to sit in on this. If that's okay.
Sure.
There's a chair back there or anywhere down
Yeah,
there.
set up a
just so
table.
you know, I'm getting over a cold, so you might want to sit there. That's why I'm Gail Breen. That's why I put myself back here. So where you sit is your choice. but
Thank you, ma'am.
I don't think I'm still German.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion approved. Bills and communications, none. Report of the treasurer, none. Reports of the committees, governance committee. Approval of the governance committee minutes from September 19th, 2024. That's tab 2. Do I have
Make a
a,
motion.
do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Motion is approved. We have an annual housekeeping resolution, appointment of officers and members. Motion to move the full board for approval.
Make a motion. Second.
Motion approved. Now, do we want to appoint the officers for this at this time?
Yeah.
The governance committee was myself, Leo, Chuck, Gail Breen, and Mike, everybody. The finance committee was myself, Leo, and Chuck. I have a motion to approve the same officers for the governance committee.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approved. A motion to approve the appointment of officers and members of the annual housekeeping, the finance committee.
So. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. The audit committee, myself, Gail, and Mike, motion to approve members of this committee. Second,
Second.
motion approved. Unfinished business.
Well, we'll need to go into the finance committee. So we'll need to call the finance committee in and then approve those finance committee minutes. And then you'll need to make a resolution to recommend the bond resolution to the full board. So we'll need to go call to order the finance committee first.
Okay. Call to order the finance committee. And we're going to deal with the
Approval of the minutes
approval of the minutes. We already did that.
of the finance committee. That was Chuck and Mike.
I think I've done them all three.
Oh, you did. All right. So what we'll need now is just a resolution to the finance committee will have a resolution to recommend to the full board the bond resolution or this Cobblestone alumni bond resolution. So
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Hearing none, motion approved.
okay. So now we're out of that. And so for unfinished business, according to the attorneys, first we'll need to do the seeker resolution. So we'll need to bring that to the full board will need to approve that.
Okay, the seeker resolution is on
Tab 6.
6.
Need a motion for that resolution. So, yes.
I move for the resolution.
Second.
The seeker.
Everybody's read the seeker motion here. So we got a roll call vote.
Okay. Chester Burton,
Yes.
Leo McAllister, Charles Finnen,
Yes.
Gail Breen,
Yes.
Michael Moore.
Yes.
All right. And then the next will be the bond resolution.
The bond resolution is item tab 7. The resolution is authorizing the issuance and sale by Scurry County Capital Resource Corporation was tax exempt revenue bond, Cobblestone Alumni Holdings, for the Cobblestone Holdings, Alumni Holdings LLC project in an aggregate principal amount not to exceed $8 million and execution of related documents. Do I have a motion to approve?
Roll call also.
Yes.
Okay. Chester Burton,
Yes.
Leo McAllister, Charles Finnen,
Yes.
Gail Breen,
Yes.
Michael Moore.
Yes.
All right.
That takes us to item 7, new business. And I started taking care of that already.
Yep, we took care of that. So then we would just. Did we do you did do a roll call, or did we do a roll call on that annual housekeeping resolution? I think I did.
Really?
I didn't think we did either.
No.
We didn't.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right, so we'll do a roll call for that annual housekeeping resolution. Chester Burton,
Yes.
Leo McAllister.
Yes.
Gail Breen,
Yes.
Charles Finnen,
Yes.
and Michael Moore.
Yes.
All right.
Motion to adjourn?
Executive session. We'll need a quick couple minutes.
Do we need to do that here or can we hold?
I don't, yeah, I think, the only reason why I'm thinking to do it here is because we are in the CRC meeting and when we get out of this, then we're going to go into IDA. So instead of having to go back and forth,
Okay.
just do it. So I'm gonna-
You'll let me know.
Yeah.
Sorry. Take a seat over there and,
I'll be
Don't make a motion for executive session.
Okay.
all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Hearing none?
Chuck who made the second? Let me. Shut the door and pause. You don't have a chance. Just the red on the bottom, the red mic.
I see the end, but I don't see mute.
Say anything?
It says
Oh, mute. I'm sorry. I had the wrong.
You have the power.
I have the power.
Sorry. My quarters here.
It is. It's a nice little room, but it's a little.
It's a very nice cozy room. Cozy is a great word.
Kind of a motion to adjourn the capital resource.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. We're moving to IDA. Call to order the Board of Directors annual meeting for the Story County Industrial Development Agency. You want to hit that unmute button there?
I think Gail already.
I already did.
Thanks. Roll call?
Okay, Chester Burton,
Here.
Leo McAllister here. Charles Finnan here. Gail Breen,
Here.
Michael Moore.
Here.
Reading and approval of the minutes of February 22nd, 2024. That's tab 1. I have a motion to approve.
You agree with these?
Yeah.
Okay.
What's that? Yep.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Bills and communications, none. CEO monthly activity report.
All right. Well, I want to thank the board for affording me the opportunity to go to the Economic Development Conference that was in Albany last week. Really good. Learned a lot of things, made some good connections. One of the impetus, what they're working on is the Economic Development Council and the Business Council of New York State. They're crafting a vision and a blueprint for New York State's economy. So basically the goal of the blueprint, identify actionable solutions and policy recommendations to create a more dynamic, competitive, and business-friendly environment in New York State. So they're reaching out to all of us. I actually got my survey yesterday, and their plan is to take this information of the survey and the recommendations and information that we're giving them, and then we're going to sit down with have a discussion on how we can implement these things. And a lot of the discussion was based on, and it was really good that they had a lot of business leaders there. And a lot of discussion was based on I wouldn't say the power, but and we're experiencing it ourselves, these regulatory agencies from the state, and how you could have 7 people from the same agency and one person of those 7 people can kill your project. And how that they really it needs to be streamlined and structured so that everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet and they're all on the same page. And a lot of that was talking about, DEC, like what we're going through with our wetland study, and other things as far as grants and information that we're getting from them. So it was really good to have a roundtable there of business leaders, and the EDC is really listening to them and to us to make suggestions on how we can move forward. But I would say the main thing was the regulatory environment. There's a lot of concern about I don't know if overreach is the right word, or just the way it's being overreach and the way it's being applied and how it's not applied consistently.
I wish there was time on somehow.
Yeah.
So they had 30 days and you have to have it done.
Mhm.
Otherwise, you've given up that right.
Yeah, and it's funny with DEC, with the new laws, there is something in there that I think they have 90 days to respond once you do your submittal. And then it goes, I think it's considered approved, but again, there's probably caveats in there where they can make that out of there. And then another really interesting session that I attended was talking about leveraging data to demonstrate economic impact. And so they went through, stakeholders and how they're using this to kind of quantify the impact of IDAs. And the guy sitting next to me was actually from the University of Rochester, and they do research projects based around that, and it's at no to minimal cost. So, I talked to him. I said I'd like to set up a meeting with him, and that they can set up basically customized things. Whether if we want to have one of the things that we had mentioned is having some sort of dashboard on our website to show the vacant and available properties. And then also some metrics to show kind of about, IDA's impact. So they had a lot of that information. And yeah, the guy told me, he's like, oh yeah, we do that we need research projects for our students. He's like, so, I'd be very interested. So I had a nice discussion with him. I actually sat by him at lunch as well. So we had talked about that. So it was a really good information there. And then affordable homes and housing. Again, this is something that, the state is, they have that 5-year plan of building 100,000 affordable homes. So they had a panel with developers on really how you can leverage IDA benefits and state benefits to make some of these housing things, not housing things, but some of these projects more attractive and affordable. And one of the things that they had mentioned, which over in Syracuse, what they had done is they, a local developer had worked with the IDA and like their downtown development association. And it's so funny because they call it the harbor. And I'm like, oh, Syracuse, it's landlocked. Why is it a harbor? But I guess it's for the river, that's that. So I was getting a little education. So when we were talking about that harbor, one of the things that they had done is they had gotten a grant and worked, and it's just out of the box thinking, and worked with the state and the federal government they put in basically like a geothermal heating system. And the way that they had put it in, and then they had leveraged some funding to make it expandable. So they put it in, it's all set up, they get the credit for it and everything. But now when other developers want to develop around there, they can hook into that system and they also get a credit for that. So it makes that more affordable and kind of moving the line. So that was interesting. Good discussion on that. And then had also a really good discussion about pilots and how to structure them and, working with local property appraisers. The discussion overall was that kind of the way that we have our pilot set up, where it's a fixed amount every year, is the way to go, because of then you're not really reliant on those market fluctuations that may occur via the property appraiser, because you have a set flat amount that's in there. Or a lot of so he said that a lot of the other IDAs that had done percentages in the past, whether it's 90% the first year and then roll it back, he's like, yeah, a lot of people are getting away from that just because of the volatility. So that was really good information on that. And then we also had some inquiries for different projects here in Schoharie County. And one of the more interesting ones is that, as everyone knows, the Empire State Greenhouses is doing a project here with the university. And I believe they were looking at spring to summer to kind of break ground on that project. Well, their supplier of the vertical grow houses that they have, they're out in Scotland. Well, they've actually contacted us, and they are interested in trying to find a site here that they can have some of their people here to work on this. Because this is basically, fingers crossed, this is going to be a pilot program that it's going to be a showcase. So they want to be able to have their people here to kind of assist and build through that. So, we're working in conjunction with IRV. They're the lead agency on this. But they had reached out to us, and then IRV had spoken with Empire State Greenhouses to make sure that this isn't kind of a one-off. So it was interesting because it was actually Empire State Greenhouses wasn't aware of this. And it was actually the government of Scotland who reached out to us. So we had to reach out from them, and then we went through and did that. And then we've also had this one I'm really excited about. It's called Project Honey Locust. So it's a data center. We got this from EDC, and they're looking to employ about 200 people. And the total investment of the project, so they do cloud-based services, would be about 250 million. And one of the things they're looking for is a site, and they want it to be a greenfield with 50 flat acres. And that's something we have. So, I sent our information in for that, and we're looking to go forward on that. And then we are in the process of planning our the Spark kind of roundtable that we're going to host and have the different. Kind of the idea was that each agency that's a representative of Spark, so IDA, IRB, the county, SEEK, and Visit Schoharie, we're going to bring in different organizations that we've worked with and kind of have them give a story on, okay, these are a success story on how they've successfully worked with our partner agencies to increase their business or to start their business up. And really the hope is to kind of educate on what we're doing and also to show the value of it, but to let people know that, hey, we're here and it's not just, at least from my perspective with the IDA, it's not just, big industries. It's we're out here and however we can assist any business owner, we're going to be out there to be able to let them do that. So that's my update. Oh, and then tomorrow, the supervisors will be voting the broadband. So they'll vote whether to go, forward with submitting the, I wouldn't say application, but I guess it's kind of like a letter of intent. So that will be a vote tomorrow. I will attend just to be there to answer any questions. And, again, from our perspective, if it can make sense for the county, this could be a game changer in not only the kind of housing market and bringing people here, but also in our ability to recruit businesses and have new industries here. So that's my method.
Just a comment on your first part. I hope the state takes us to part, because a good example of the overreach they've had is a solar project.
Yeah.
We were working with the solar towns or villages. And then the state basically went in and said, tough, look what happened, Sharon, look what happened over, and that's what's wrong with the state overreach.
Exactly. And they used examples of like Florida and Texas of places, and I'm from Florida and I live there, of where it's a very pro-business climate. And if you're going to compete with these Sunbelt states, they're like, we have a lot to offer here in New York, but they said that there is a perception from industries all around the country. They're like, oh, New York, they're too hard to work with. And they're like,
People are moving out of New York because it's cold.
Yeah.
That's what one of our governors said that.
Mhm.
They're moving out. Businesses are moving out because of that, the other reasons.
Exactly. And they use a prime example of how they're like, how the state of New York is basically with the financial sector, it's a huge, revenue and income producer for the state. And there had always been, you'll like this, Leo, they use this analogy. They're like, I feel like I'm being treated like a criminal, with that I've done something wrong. It's like, I'm just trying to get a business here. And it's, and they use that about how, so instead of being more, looking at the financial sector and as somebody that's looking to get away with something, they're like, no, we need to embrace that and say, okay, this is an asset we have. How do we work with them to make sure that it's easier, so they're not going to Delaware or wherever they're at? And so, I'm hoping that they do take that to heart. And, it really, from this, having two kind of partners with the Business Council and the New York State EDC to advocate on our behalf for it, because they're basically like, we're at a pressure point right now. And if we don't change, it could, really negatively impact us.
You probably see it, Mike.
All the time.
Yeah.
Right.
So just to turn the coin over, the greenhouse project, does it make sense to talk to Dick Ball, Commissioner of Ag, just to get his input, to make him aware of what's going on, and then have some leverage at a higher level if there's any issues that develop.
I will talk with, that's a good idea.
I don't know, I mean.
I'll see if Scott
It
Ferguson
can't
has
hurt, right?
kind of reached out to them and where they're at with that. So I will definitely talk.
Dick listens. Dick listens.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Yeah, Richard's a great guy. He really
Yeah.
is. He's excellent.
Yeah, and especially since this will be a showcase project, you know, how do we get this? And, you know, I think one of the things that the county, their new ag coordinator, Carolyn, and I keep her. Myron, thank you. So she is working to do kind of outreach with the local farms and be like, okay, well, you know, this isn't something that's going to take away from you. It's more on a whole additive. And then how can we incorporate, you know, these local farms and local agriculture into this? So it's kind of a symbiotic relationship and everybody benefits from it. So that's really, the foresight is really good. And that's, again, that's kind of like the whole genesis of the Spark Group is to kind of where we get in there. And there are people that, you know, like IRB has a great reach and they're the lead on this and they do a lot of things, but Carolyn's, she's boots on the ground. So she's able for us to do that.
Okay.
All right. Good report.
Yeah.
Any other questions for the activity report? Hearing none, moving on to treasurer's report.
Yeah, we again had two CDs called, and two of our larger CDs were called like right when I was doing this. So per our conversation last month, I've reached out to New York Class Investments, and based on my research, they're right around, and I think you had said this, Leo, they're between like, I want to say 4 to like 4.3% on their returns. So I have a call set up with them, and basically all we need to do is at the next meeting, they'll provide us with a resolution. We can make a resolution to be able to do that. So what I did is I did not reinvest those other CDs because I wanted to maintain liquidity. So if the board decides that we want to move into the New York class, then we have this money to move into the New York class. So that's the update on that. And, you know, that's what's happening. It says, again, and it's funny because after talking to Peter Pachilli over at LPL, when I asked him about the rates for the upcoming CDs, the number was very close, if not the same as what the New York class was. So again, we're able to have liquidity and not have the volatility of getting locked in and having these numbers called on us. So I will bring forward more information and hopefully a resolution and a motion at next month's meeting. So that way we can look to start diversifying our assets and putting some stuff up.
So which ones were called?
Okay, the US Bank, or actually, you know, it's not on here, so it's from the last month. So we had a $250,000 one that was called. So as you'll see how the LPL cash account that has 403, 230, 62, that's from the two that were called. So it was another JP Morgan one for 250 and then another one for 160. I'll email the board with the numbers on the last two. And actually, I can pull it out.
So how much of the 403 do you want to put? Class.
I up to what you all think. If you want to do half, and then, or we could put 250 in a CD and try to get some interest on it and do.
Well, you're still going to get the 4 plus and the.
Yeah, so my thought would be to move the whole amount in there.
I agree.
And then just keep it in there and let it collect that interest. And then as these other CDs.
If they change better, then we can always move it.
That was my thought exactly, to be able to do that. And let me run in, I have the two ones that I called.
And this, is that liquid asset?
Yeah, the cash account is liquid. I'll get it.
In terms of where we're thinking of putting it.
Well, that would go into New York class, the 403, because the 403 is, the class is just like a money market account.
Okay.
But the interest
it's
is
liquid.
paid very similar to a CD rate.
Okay.
And CD rates have been coming down, not going up. So as long as we can get the 443 in liquid, then we can always move it if things change.
Right, it's not locked in for a time
It's
period.
great, it works really good.
Okay, so the two that were called were Stellar Bank of Houston, that we had 250,000 on that one. And then a JP Morgan Chase for 147,000. So those two were called.
They were around 5, were they? In the 5 range?
Yes.
Yeah.
So those two were, that was, you're right on the money, Leo. JP Morgan was 5.1 and Stellar Bank was 5.3. So those two that they got called basically. JP Morgan was 130.25, and then Stellar, they went ahead and that was 120.
CDs get called, you know, 6-month CD or a year CD.
Mhm.
I mean, one with race with they change. They're not done.
No, that's for sure.
All right, any further questions on? Cash position report. Hearing none, moving on to committees, reports. Governance committee. Let's see, we approved that motion, right? In the governance.
Yeah, that was, I want to say that was last meeting that we approved that. Let's see. Okay, so this is. I feel like we already did it, but let's double check. Yeah, so we already did that. We just need to do the housekeeping.
Okay,
So yeah, to just be approving the minutes from the governance committee.
do I have a motion to approve, the governance committee meetings of September 19th, 2024?
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none, motion carried. Annual housekeeping, appointment of officers. Basically, that was the full board. Motion to approve the
Motion.
same nominee.
Second.
All in favor? Opposed? Hearing none.
Got to do a roll call, I think, on the resolution, the housekeeping one. All right, Chester Burton,
Yes.
Leo McAllister, Gail Breen,
Yes.
Charles Bennett,
Yes.
and Michael Moore. Yes. Okay.
All right. Finance committee is not available. Audit committee is not available. Unfinished business.
Okay, so I just want to give a verbal update for SharePoint. Not much different from the update that I sent everyone via email last week. Really just waiting until April is when the Army Corps is scheduled to come out and do their site visit. So basically what needs to happen is Army Corps of Engineers will come out, they'll look at it, and they will say it's jurisdictional or non-jurisdictional. And then based on their jurisdictional determination, it goes to DEC. And then DEC will approve that, or go through the process of their kind of 11 items that they have. Again, MRB is confident that we're going to be fine with it. We went ahead and I've asked them to go forward with the larger site plan footprint, but it wouldn't have, it doesn't affect it anyway. So it's basically, whether it's the 750 or the 1 million square foot site plan, it is kind of inconsequential to where we're at right now. We're just in a holding pattern waiting. So they're doing another they're having their other wetland expert go out there to kind of prep everything and have that ready. So that's really where we stand right now. We're just kind of on a holding pattern until we get that direction from the Army Corps. I'd be happy to answer any further questions.
Any word from Scannell?
Yes, we've had calls and discussions regarding the contract, and when we do executive session, there was an update I wanted to give you about that as well.
Okay. New business.
All right, so I guess we already did that motion. What else we need to do? Because was that the motion from governance to move it to, confused on that one.
Well, I think we need to, the full committee, we need to approve
Yeah.
resolution to us. Right.
Okay, yep, so we'll need a motion for that.
So.
I have a motion, second. All in favor? All opposed? Hearing none.
And then I will,
Motion carried.
do I need to do roll call on that? I mean, I guess I could just to cover ourselves. I think so.
Yeah, four, we just did, didn't we?
Yeah,
We just did that one.
okay.
Kind of confusion we got all these.
Exactly, and they're in different committees and different meetings.
All right.
And do we want to do strategic planning real quick, and then we can go into executive session, so that way Patsy doesn't need to wait around or anything.
All right. I had a thought on strategic planning. I'd like to run by you. If we take a part of every monthly meeting, it's going to draw this out to quite a process. And what my thought was is that maybe we ought to have a subcommittee. And this is not to exclude anybody, but Leo, you're busy, and Mike, you're busy, but Gail, and I'm going to say Gail was not that busy.
Let's see now.
People think I'm not busy either, but and Chuck, we have some time on our hands where we don't have to take time out of the day. We can announce when the meeting's going to be, and Leo and Mike can come in and join us at any point. But maybe we take that stuff down, we keep working notes, and whatever we do, we send them out so you're up to date with whatever we're doing and can make comments or whatever that is. What do you think about that type of arrangement?
So whether it's a full board or whatever.
We just set up a task force and it would be three of us that'd be meeting every time, and the others, you can come in and you could come in and
That's good.
do it. There are different formats. I was just discussing with earlier with Jim that we could follow, and wanted to have a standard format where you have mission statement, your objectives, and the task to solve them. That'd be one way. It's a standard way of doing it. Or we could set it up more as a working document where we'd have the similar layout, but an appendix laid out where we would have the tasks laid up as, strategies and tactics with deliverables and milestones and processes and whatever. And it becomes a working document rather than just a showcase kind of thing. We set up in two kinds of ways. One would be we'd list the vision, mission, and then our objectives and all of our steps, but we'd stop there and we wouldn't get into the nitty gritty of all the little steps where we'd have this laid out. Did you run those off?
I did. I need to collate them, so I can do that after the meeting.
Okay. Here, let me give you an example.
You know, I can do that now while you're passing those out, if that's okay, Chad.
I'm like,
I think more are coming.
Thank you.
I recently did a strategic plan for a corporation, and you all get a copy of that where I broke it down, and in the latter way, it became more of a working document. But if you take a look at this, the strategy imperative would be like your objective. And you would have the person responsible, you'd have a description and the tactics that are going to be for that. And you notice that what are the outcomes? What are the metrics? What are the deliverables? What are the milestones? Resources expected, key interfaces with who needs to be contacted and when, and potential challenges with some comments. And it would be a living document because as you were moving through this, these would change. And you'd have different issues coming up. And every time, every meeting, we could sit down and say, we'd look at this and say, where are we at with any particular segment of it?
My only question is, without it being based in a mission and a vision and objectives.
Oh, it will be.
Okay, that's what I wasn't clear on because
This is a second layer.
I thought you were giving us alternatives. I apologize. Yeah.
No. He's going to come back and give it a layout. Fonda did a strategic plan layout, and we could follow that. I have some recommendations to change some of the things that he put in it because of.
that's a good starting point.
It's a good starting point, and we can add to that.
Good idea.
So he's collating them out, and we have Fonda's, the one that I did, and the other thing that we need to incorporate when the board of trustees, the supervisors, allocated the funding for our director, they gave down a set of objectives. And we need to incorporate those objectives into the strategic plan. It's something that Fonda didn't do exactly, but it needs to be done very explicitly so that we can demonstrate that we are.
Yeah, right.
The other thing that we need to be conscious of as we're doing this is that who are the stakeholders? And it's not only the board of supervisors, but it's the villages, the school systems when we are dealing with pilots, it's the businesses. All of those people need to be incorporated in this in some fashion. So that we're continually aware of what we're doing and how we're being transparent and getting back to them on our activities.
I think that's a good point because I think from my point of view on the when I was out of town, we really didn't know what the idea was. We really didn't know what the objectives were. And I think maybe we could have been the only ones who didn't, but I think that probably not the case.
I think you're absolutely right. We ought to set up some kind of mechanism where we can maybe distribute to each of those people, what's happening and where we're at, if not the entirety of what we're doing, but at least specifically what relates to them.
Well, we can also presentation.
True, we can do that. That's another way of doing it, but we need to be more inclusive of who our audience is. I mean, we have our core business that we have to take care of, but we have to be more cognizant of what's around us. And I think we can build that right into our strategic plan.
It can be any morning when it's single digits.
Hurry up.
Yeah, as long as it's not on golfing days.
That was kind of my point.
No, but I think we could probably brush, get a good deal of it done if we meet a couple of times. And I think Sarah's going to be critical on this because Sarah's
She's got the.
been
history.
over a long period of time and knows the steps that need to be done, and those need to be incorporated in the objectives. So, you know, if we're doing bonds, this is what we need to do, and who needs to be contacted, and so on. And if we're doing a pilot, you know, what are the steps and public meetings and everything, and have it all laid out, and that way it becomes a working document. So once we're gone, and Jim and Sarah, there'll be some document on hand. The next person comes in and say, okay, this is what I need to do. Just follow that out.
It's institutional memory.
That's right. So I think if we do it right, I don't think it would take that much to do it that way.
I think from my perspective, because I don't want to say I'm not doing that much, but I have another organization where I'm the president, and we meet on a regular basis, at least a couple of times a month. So what I would prefer is that if we're going to do this, and obviously we are, and I'm all in favor of being part of it, that we try to establish a date or a time that I can lock into my calendar, and probably you all want to do the same thing as well. As opposed to just call and say, hi, would you like to have a meeting?
Oh, no, we don't do that.
Because I will run screaming into the night.
Right. No, I
As I'm
agree
sure
with
we
that.
all do. But I would just like it to be put down as a regular event. And if we need to cancel it, we cancel it. But it's better to have it there than not.
We can all have a caution. It has to be a simple, not, won't be so complicated.
Nobody can understand.
Well,
Yeah.
we don't want to be going off on all different tangents.
Yeah.
That's all. I need simple.
Yeah, those are the supervisors, got Fonda's, and yours is.
I apologize, but I have to go to another meeting. Thank you for
Have a
letting me
good
consider
day.
all of you. You have a lovely day.
Thank you very much, you too.
Thank you.
Things behind it. We got everybody? Okay. Here, and then this is the plan at Fonda. And then when yours are done printing, I'll grab that one.
So, the example I mentioned earlier, if you take a look at this memorandum of understanding from the Board of Supervisors, go halfway down the front page there where it says objectives, it lists 3 of them. Anyway, there's a second page to this MOU, but the second page it says what the Board of Supervisors is going to do for us. But primarily objectives to us are what's listed at the bottom of this first page. Those need to be incorporated specifically into what we're doing here. And if you take a look at Fonda's document, it catches some of that, but it's more specifically oriented to the things that were happening right at this time, like bad point.
Mhm. Whoops, we got some upside down pages there. Good looking upside down page. Now having found this all the way through, the objectives are very straightforward, but we have to find a way to measure them if we're going to report them back to the Board of Supervisors. There's no,
Yeah,
that would be to me the next step from the MOU is how do we measure what we've agreed to do?
I agree. He has some metrics towards the end of
Oh,
it.
does he? Okay.
But they're just listed, the
Oh,
metrics,
Yeah,
rather
okay.
than, but with each one.
Right,
That's why I was getting at this other document that I sent out to you, this one. If we did
Yes.
each of them and we specified all of these with each of our strategies, then we'd know when they were completed.
right.
The University of Rochester, it also helps with the metrics, providing the data on a lot of these that he's got listed. And if they were to do that.
Oh, yeah, no, I could kind of ask them what they're using for measurable data for other IDAs and then kind of incorporate that in there as well.
Yeah, good idea.
Well, anyway, these are some of the documents, on the Board of Supervisors, there's a page missing here.
Oh, is there?
That's all right.
Yeah, I had issues with the printer. It's not collating, so I had to do it by hand.
The second page is not as critical as this one right here, to give it as an example. But the subtask group would sit down and we'd look at this and kind of put it together and then share it with everybody.
Okay. Can you get us a copy eventually of the second page? It says what the.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
make the whole
supposed
thing.
to do.
Yeah.
You don't have this?
No.
Oh, I haven't.
Oh, you have the second page?
I do.
Wow.
I'll stop it.
I don't know. Shut it. Isn't that funny?
Right, you should.
He could just take your page and copy.
Right, exactly. What?
Buy a subscription to the paper.
No,
No.
Do you want?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate it.
You got the master.
you got the master.
Oh,
That's why.
Oh, that's
It
why.
wasn't 3 pages. It was printed on both sides.
I'm not a good collator either. Once you start thinking,
We all have our tasks.
Yes, we do.
I think the transparency is one that's going to be critical here. Everybody has to understand what we're doing and the Board of Supervisors has to see that we are doing what their expectations were. And the county, I mean, the people, all the stakeholders need to see where we're at.
Right.
And it goes beyond us. It goes to the EDC and the regional IDA groups too.
Yeah, it certainly helps Jim in his
Right.
outreach.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So if you want to look at a calendar and send out some dates,
Yeah.
you can do that over an email.
Yeah, I'd rather get it done, quickly and not drag it out too much. I'm going to be gone 2 weeks in March.
Yeah.
I prefer early morning,
I do too.
and maybe, a couple hours whenever we meet.
Thank you. I don't have anything except this.
sorry.
No, it's look at this.
For once I was following along.
I feel like an idiot. I have no idea what people are talking about. Yeah, no, this is good. being new, why did the county decide that they would not support, they would decrease the level of support for 26 and 27?
I mean, make me think back.
That's what it should.
They only give us 130 anyway. Something.
Right, it was 130, and the additional amount was for administrative support. So we're paying for Sarah,
Right.
and we're paying some of Jim's benefits, specifically with the health insurance. And that's been left in limbo to some degree. I guess I gotta go back and see if I can light a fire under that.
Okay.
But it was specifically looking at that, and it was felt that as we were getting along, we'd be getting more money and be able to sustain ourselves, and we
Okay.
wouldn't have to
Then that
do
would
the
make-
administrative support.
That would make sense.
Right now, our health insurance, your health insurance,
It's-
is paid for by us.
It's a COBRA.
It's a code. But I will tell you, I haven't gotten a bill for like 2 months, so I don't know if they're assuming it or what, so was planning on reaching out.
Oh, yeah, you better do that.
Because we don't want to get one with the,
But you see, that's one of the items that should be included in the additional monies. The other thing was that the county was making arrangements so that we would be able to have the same healthcare insurance as county employees for Jim. And that starting this year, and somewhere there's been pushback and it hasn't happened. We were supposed to be able to deal directly with CDVHP and get the same benefit rather than trying to wiggle our way through the county. That did not happen for whatever reason. Yeah, I guess I gotta go back in and find out. Jim and I have to go back
Commissioners
and,
Department.
yeah,
Some issues.
yeah, they did.
They were the whole.
Basically, there's just a form that was filled out. You filled it out. There was nothing onerous. It was about 2 or 3 pages that would take care of that. But there was, for some other reason, there was pushback.
Let's get that straight.
I'll reach out.
Well, anyway, so that's where we're at in terms of strategic plan, and maybe we can huddle a little bit after the meeting and decide when we want to meet.
Okay.
At least a starting
Yeah.
meeting to get things taken care of. I think for me, as long as it's early morning and I'm not away, I can do that. And
How
maybe it
early?
takes it. I'd say 9 o'clock.
Okay, I didn't know if you had something earlier.
I'm usually in here like between 7:30, 7:45, so I'm.
Yeah,
willing
good
to
for
start now.
breakfast somewhere at 7:30.
Yeah.
Just happen to have a meeting along with it.
Well, when I was on the board here at school, our budget meetings were at 6.
Wow.
6 to 8, and everyone went to work.
Mm.
Yeah.
It worked really good. I think I'm not part of this.
It's actually.
Well, when I first came to the IDA, most of us were working. So the meeting started at 7:30, you know, and it was, by 9 o'clock, we're done because everybody had to go to work. So fortunately, we're not in that situation. Anyway, okay.
Okay.
Any other business to come before the board today?
No, just to update on a couple things in executive session.
Okay. I guess we'll go into executive session.
A motion for that?
Yeah.
So move.
Second.
Come back on and we can.
come back on.
Yes, we're on.
We're on.
We're on.
Motion to come out of executive session.
Some of
Second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing none. Motion carried. Motion for adjournment.
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Hearing none. Meeting adjourned.
good meeting.
Okay, we are.
And a couple here. I got all
I can
these
just
and then
do
here's your little
the
stamp.
meeting.
And then. Yeah.